one where you can discuss with us. You can say everything about. It was DJ. He used to love. He used to love really to talk, discuss. He always said, "We're going to discuss the case." So this morning we don't have speeches. Nobody. I don't know. There's no speech. Everything is coming here from the heart. So I'm not going to take time to present to you Dr. Mary DJ, clinical dermatologist.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here and to represent Martin, who had an abiding interest in the whole issue of snake bites, because where he was trained in Jamaica, we don't have venomous snakes. So he came to St. Lucia and suddenly was faced with this problem of farmers coming in, having been bitten by our famous fer de lance snake. And immediately he reached out to many specialists all over the world, including Prof. Gutierrez, and it was through the cooperation that they began to try to get antivenom into St. Lucia, because we didn't have. And even when we got antivenom, it was not really as specific to our snake as it could have been, so it was not as efficacious. So with Prof. Gutierrez began this journey of trying to get an antivenom that could be more efficacious against our fer de lance. So it's a wonderful feeling to be here today, to see this grouping now working towards even developing better levels of antivenom for our patients in St. Lucia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary. So talking about Professor Gutierrez, I don't know if he's here. So. Okay, he's here. The history is, you know about the history. I came here, I don't have the picture, but we were talking about snake bite. He said, "D'abord, I see you are very interesting in that subject." I said, "Yes, I'm interesting." He said, "But I'm upset." I said, "Why are you upset?" I said, "Because there is somebody named Gutierrez. I have seen his paper in 2008. He did a study, but I don't understand so much because I'm a clinician. I don't understand the word proteomic, venomics, and things like that, neutralization. And at this time, I didn't understand. I understand proteins, but not all." He said to me, "Yeah, he's working well. He's a big team." I said, "No, but how come you I don't see your name in the paper?" He said, "No, it's not the matter." But I said, "I'm going to send him a letter telling him that, I'm upset because I see the Botrops lanceolatus at the university. Somebody, I don't know, he's writing. At this time, I thought it was my snake, but it's not." Scientifically, I don't have the property of what? Of nothing. DJ said, no, calm down, come. Sit down. I'm going to tell you what to do." He opened his wallet. He said to me, "Take that. That is his email. He's a good guy. Email him." And you remember the good email I sent to you, Professor Gutierrez, telling you, beautiful is Costa Rica, you remember? Yes. So he received me, Professor Gutierrez, at the Clodomiro Picado, University of Costa Rica. I did the speech. They received me well. All those people, they were there, Aaron, Guillermo, and others. and I gave my first speech. And after all, Professor Gutierrez told me that the floor is open, the Clodomiro Picado is open to work, to help me to do my thesis. And I did my mobility over there in Costa Rica, and I did my thesis with two of my mentor, director, co-director, and I'm glad to introduce to you again, Professor Gutierrez. But I didn't send you now I'm not upset with you.
Well, good morning. It is a great honor for me and for my colleagues from Instituto Clodomiro Picado of Costa Rica to have the opportunity to be here, to meet personally Dr. Mary, and to pay tribute to this great person, Dr. Didier. Years ago, I received an email from a person here from San Lucia mentioning that there was a problem with snakebite, and that asking whether our institute would be willing to provide antivenom for San Lucia. So we started this communication, and he put me in contact with Dr. Didier, who from the very beginning struck to me as a very gentle person, very committed to public health, very committed to helping people and helping his country. So from that time, we started exchanging messages. Fortunately, this evolved into the possibility of bringing antivenom, thanks to also the involvement of Dr. Dabor. And eventually, through the Pan American Health Organization, we were able to send some antivenom here. And we are very pleased to hear yesterday several presentations from colleagues here from San Lucia, that the antivenom is being used, is working, and is saving lives here. So for us in our institute, is a great pride and great satisfaction to know that our work is projecting to San Lucia and is helping to save lives here and to increase the quality of life. But then 1 year ago, when our colleagues in Martinique organized the second symposium, I was sitting in a table in having lunch in the hotel of the meeting, and then a group of people came. They were coming from San Lucia, and there was Dr. Didier, and we immediately sort of connected ourselves and started talking. And you know, there are people in your life that when you meet them, they strike you in a very special way. I would say in a spiritual way. And the conversation and the contact with Dr. Didier, very rapidly, I got this impression of a man, not only of high talent, but high spiritual values, a great human being. And you know, this feeling of finding a person with such high spiritual and human value is an experience that you never forget. And we had some conversations, we had discussions about this topic, but overall I came back home with this impression of having met a great person, a great man, a person who devoted his life to the well-being of humanity. And this is, to me, it was a great experience, and I will never forget that. So we just met that time, but it was enough to grasp, for me, to grasp the high value of this fantastic person who really committed himself to helping humanity and his country. So I am very, very pleased now to meet you and to have the opportunity to convey our message to you and your family about the great value of your husband and how grateful we are to have had the opportunity to meet him and to work with him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gutierrez. Dr. Mary is not alone. She's with us, and you know, Didier, you cannot have a conversation with Didier without talking about Leah and Melanie. Unfortunately, Leah is in Jamaica, working now, but we have the pleasure to introduce you Melanie Didier. She's a doctor like us. Go ahead. So, Benjamin, so you have lived with the man, working with the man. He said to me that Benji is my man. You have to help him. Make the case, man.
Thanks. Good morning, everybody. You know, I think that a lot of this conference is part of the brainchild of Dr. Martin Didier. And I think he would be so happy and so honored to see this, you know, today that we actually have a symposium in St. Lucia. And it is actually a huge symposium because the turnout is a lot bigger than the one in Martinique. So, you know, that is very, very good for us. And that is what he would want and he would be smiling upon. You know, Dr. Didier is like, he is, you know, my father. You know, he's a lot of what I've learned today in internal medicine and intensive care, I learned from him. You know, I learned more from him than medical school. And that's a fact. You know, and I remember him, one good thing about him, you know, he always gave me those wise quotes that I'm now learning as I'm getting older. As a young pup, I didn't know and I didn't understand. But, you know, he would tell me things like, you have to smell the diagnosis from your belly. I'm like, smell it from my belly? You know, I didn't understand these things, you know, and you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. And all these little wise codes that I'm now learning and understanding as I'm older. So, you know, one of the things, you know, very significant about him is succession planning. And he always invested in younger physicians, invested his time and his energy and efforts. Like, look at what he did for Dabo. And he's done so much for me, I can't even count, you know. And I could never repay him for everything he's done for me, you know, personally and academically. And that's the type of man he was, so selfless and always invested in the future and always had succession planning. So I remember him saying, you know, you have to meet Dabo, you have to go to Martinique. Dabo is your brother, you know, and I want you to continue this cooperation when I'm not there. And I'm like, what do you mean when you're not there? So he was just planning ahead. And, you know, he said, continue to Martinique, the French cooperation, you know, so they can continue to help. You know, he said, I need you to get on board on the snakebite thing. It's like, one morning he woke up and he said, you coming to Martinique with me? I'm like, what, just like that? He's like, yes, let's go. And that was it. And he's like, he would give me these stories about snakes and I couldn't understand the interest in snakes. And the most interesting story was when he went to the back of the lab, he and Dr. Stephen King and a forestry guy who brought a snake, and they were trying to milk a furulus. I'm like, why would you just do that? Leave water out to milk a furulus just to understand it more. And these are the things he would do, you know, at Old Victoria Hospital. And working with him was a pleasure, you know, as an intern and a young doctor and a colleague, you know, and he's such a great guy. And I just want you guys to know, you guys can go check this out in the journal, the American Journal of Tropical Medicine, September 2022. It's on PubMed. He published a paper, the first published paper of cerebral infarctions after a bite by the Bothrops carabies, our snake, right? That was never published before because he had a 32-year-old male patient at Victoria Hospital who was healthy. And I think he's still alive today. I think he works in forestry. Am I correct? Anybody from forestry there? Yeah, he still works at forestry. And Dr. Didier saved his life. This guy came in at multiple strokes. And that paper is published. It's there. The facts are there. It's in PubMed Journal. So you guys can check it out. Multiple infarcts in a patient showing that our Bothrops snake causes, as opposed to causing bleeding, and systemic symptoms like the Central and South American cobra, that it causes the opposite. It causes a thrombogenic phenomenon. And that was his thinking, and that was his perception and his diagnosis, and it is there today. And God knows in a couple of years' time where that will lead to, because that phenomenon could actually contribute so significantly to medicine, because now we could harvest our antivenom to treat coagulopathies probably, and hemophilia, and all those other bleeding disorders. Who knows where that's going to lead? And just on the principles of that paper. So that's just a testament to the great work that he's done, and that's part of that. And I'm just so honored to be, following in his footsteps. I could never fill his shoes. I want to say that again. I will never be able to fill his shoes, because he was just such a great guy, and the work he's done with Martinique and here at home, especially with snake bites and so on, and getting the antivenom and connecting Dabo and Professor, Gutierrez, is just tremendous. And all I want to say now is that, like, everything I'm doing now, he's done all the heavy lifting already. So this man is a giant, and I'm standing on his shoulders. I could see better, I could see further, because I'm standing on his shoulders. Thanks.
Thank you, Benji. I think you have more things to explain to us, to tell us. More history, after all.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this paper was a good paper, Malbranche, this paper. But about this case, he didn't publish it by himself.
That's true.
He did it in collaboration with those guys in Martinique, even with somebody from UK. I don't have to see his name, but that since at this time I was small, maybe I was just born, so he was thinking already about medical cooperation. So that is a collaborative paper published in the American Journal, and we all know about. Thank you very much, Benji. So we're going to move on. We have, on my right, Professor Rémi Nevière. We have been working for many years in the field of snake bite. So yesterday you got a big intervention about thrombo inflammation. So he met DJ. He knew him. I know you have something to add about him. Go ahead, sir.
Of course. Good morning, everybody. Yes, I met a few times Dr. Didier. It was really a pleasure. And I'm sure one of the messages he gave to me was to pursue in the cooperation between the Caribbean territories. And one of my thinking to go on with this collaboration will be to have some exchange between students from our territory, Martinique, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia. It will be a very great pleasure to organize this. And thanks to Professor Rezier, who accept me in the big team of the Snakebite family now. I'm part of that, and I'm very happy of this. So my willing is really to pursue on cooperation and have students and share scientific discussion, and it will be just great to go on with St. Lucia students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Nevière. Patrick Potekop, yesterday he arrived after a long day of boat or plane? Boat. So Patrick is from Guadeloupe. Didier had a lot of link with the Guadeloupean also, not only Martinique. So Patrick is a chief of the Department of Pre-Hospital Emergency, Pre-Hospital Emergency, SAMU. It's like his colleague, Papa Gay, he's sleeping, Gay, over there. Gay. So, Patrick, thank you for coming. Even you lost a lot of big things yesterday. Not last night. You didn't lose nothing last night, but you knew about DJ. I know you love talking about Snake. You did help me. He gave me all information. There is something about Snake. He sent me a message. Snake bite, whatever. So in Guadeloupe, there is no venomous snake. But I think I'm going to bring some venomous snake sometime in Guadeloupe. Go ahead.
No. Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be here. And in our country, there is no venomous snake, but we have students, medicine students, and it's very important to teach them in the Caribbean what snake bite in the Caribbean, in French Guiana, Martinique, St. Lucia, Dominique, because it's a specificity of our country. And I think that antivenom is a special way to develop some treatment for the inflammation. So I think it's a very good way to. Thank you. It's a very interesting way to study with all the STEAM to know and teach for our students the specificity of this pathology, mucosis pathology, inflammatory pathology, and I think with Benjamin, with Dr. Florentin, we have a lot of things with Prof. Louisiana, Prof. Nevier, we have a lot of things to do in our university. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. We have, he always said, DJ, you know, the snake bite thing is not a question of doctors only. We need everybody to be on board. And the fact, when I told him I want to go to Dennery or Micoud, I want to go to the health centers in order to see what is happened, he said, the fact, I know somebody, is Mrs. D, is Mr. Y, I don't know. But he always knows somebody, and he's going to make the connection. He said, Mrs. D, doctor, at this time I was still doctor. Dr. Darboy is coming over. He's a guy who's working with me. He's my son. He's my son. He repeated that 2 times. And he said, okay. So he wants to come over and to know what is going on in the whatever. He make the connection. So we need interconnection. That's this symposium. It's all about that. Interconnection with Brazil. I have my colleagues over there. For long, we wanted to get contact, connected with them. We were talking about that in the meetings. We never had the opportunity. Last year, they were supposed to come. They had some problem issue, like plane issue and others. But we are glad to receive our colleagues from Manaus, from Amazonie University. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. And yes. And also the team of Costa Rica. We don't have to present them now because we are on board together. So we have with us our colleague from, we present the forestry. Can you just, yes, the floor is yours, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Pius Hayes. I am a forester. I go to commercial agriculture. And of course, as you might all be aware, the forestry department is the arm of government that is responsible for the management, conservation, protection of all wildlife in St. Lucia.
To be the
And
cooperation.
of course, the
Patients
Venomous
and
is
all that?
one of such
Transfer
wildlife.
Okay. No problem.
And
You always
so
have the
I've had the privilege
phone
you know,
number.
to
Yeah.
work in the department for the past 16 years. And I didn't get a chance to work intimately with Dr. Didier, but I did meet him and we had interactions. Especially we were trying to have some collaboration on the Caribbean Doctors Association, and together with Keith Compton himself, Dr. Didier, and we're trying to get more or less an MOU between Ministry of Agriculture and Caribbean Doctors Association. But the work that he had done, in fact, the work that has been done was instrumental to helping us in putting together our snakebite protocols, safety protocols, and so on. And I'm sure he has also worked with other past foresters. And in the room we have Mr. Donald Anthony. I think he may have worked with Mr. Anthony when they were putting together this protocol for safety. And so I'm quite happy to be here this morning. And my main interest really is as it relates to snake safety for our foresters and also for the community folks, our farmers, our residents in the various areas where we get the feathers and so on. Nowadays we seem to have this dilemma between conservation and more or less the perception of persons in the communities, in the field. You will appreciate that community folks, they have a huge enmity. They do not like snakes. They don't like these creepy crawlies. And so for a farmer, for somebody who lives in ancillary canaries in one of these areas that constitutes the core habitat of the feathers, to them, the best thing is against it. However, we have to balance this against conservation because we have heard about the potential health benefits that could be derived from the venom of our snake. And as you are hearing, the venom from the Caribbean, from the Caribbeus and also the Lanceolatus seems to be different in composition and in its end use as it relates to coagulation. We've not been seeing this in the other Bothrop species. And so we have this little niche, we have this opportunity for much more research and also medical benefits. So I'm looking forward to the outcome of this. And most times when we do our when we do our workshops and when we do seminars in the communities, what they are looking forward most is how can they get safety equipment? How can they get easy access to snake gear, like the leggings and the boots and even the gloves and so on, because our farmers, the high percentage of snake bites are at the extremities, the leg, the feet, and the hands, and so on. And so persons are concerned. And I am also concerned as a conservationist because we are seeing the feathers in areas where they had otherwise not been seen before. I mean, historically, the feathers has been seen, in fact, the feathers was present on the majority of St. Lucia, historically. If you look at the records, you'll see that the distribution was far and wide in St. Lucia. However, there was this major contraction, and the population had been restricted to the core areas like ancillary canaries, millet, dairy, pollen. But recently, we are seeing a change in dynamics, a change in like paradigm shift. We are seeing occurrences in areas where we have not seen before. We have a few theories why this is happening, and we believe the core thing or the main reason is due to the lack of farming, intensive farming. We used to have a lot of banana farming before, and lands were being used for that. As a result, that kept the animals at bay. However, now we have a problem in our forest reserve. We have feral pigs, what we call the ocean wild pigs. We have these in our forest reserve. And based on our observations, we realize that where those wild pigs are found in the forest reserve, we tend to not find the feathers there. So we have a theory that it is possible, we need to do research, it is possible that the feathers are being pushed out to the periphery from the forest reserve into the periphery by those wild pigs. So there is need for a lot of research, ecological research, medical research, And I'm looking forward to the collaboration, with the Ministry of Health, our Martinique colleagues, and the One Health approach. Thank you.
Mr. I have a question for you. You said you have seen snakes in areas that you have never seen before. Professor Gutierrez has an explanation for that, for you maybe. And his presentation the other day, the first day, we were talking about that. You want to know why? Ask him.
So, just as I said before, we used to have FLS well distributed in solution, but this was like way back when. But from the 70s and the 80s, it has been reduced.
He has the response. He knows.
Now we're getting this. So yes, I'd like to hear what he has to say. Thank you.
Actually, what you are mentioning is really interesting and relevant. And I mentioned in my first presentation, the first day, that there are studies using ecological niche modeling and other techniques showing how climate change, human intervention in ecosystems affect the distributions of snakes. Some snakes adapt to these changes and expand their range. Some snakes do not adapt and reduce their range of distribution. For example, in Costa Rica, we have a species which is very similar to the Ferdelans. We call it terciopelo. And this snake adapts very well to agricultural areas, to altered environments, to pasture lands. So the number of snake bites has not decreased despite the deforestation and other ecological alterations. And this snake sometimes is found nearby houses. And in a study done a couple of years ago, on human cases, it was found that almost 40% of the cases inflicted by this snake occur inside houses or around houses in rural areas. So this is really interesting and important to study. And also in this meeting, we have been insisting on this concept of One Health, which includes the human health, veterinary health, and ecosystem health. So this interdisciplinary interaction that people with your expertise and people with expertise in other areas of biology is very important in our field to understand how this interaction between humans and snakes is evolving, which is different from different species in different countries. It's very important to understand to mitigate this conflict human snakes, as you have explained very well. So it's plenty of work to do.
Remember, you will have the opportunity to ask questions, but we just going back to him. He knows more than me because you were with the man every day.
Yes.
So how come now even now, you see, not you, a lot of people at OKU or Vieux-Fort, they have a lot of problems to transfer a patient to Martinique. Whenever they have a case, you remember when Didier was there, everybody had to call him. So how come the problem is still there? Tell us a little bit why he had that facility to connect with Martinique.
Because he couldn't speak French. Anyway, so Dr. Didier he was the key. He was the key to the cooperation and our key to Martinique. A lot of people don't know that, but he was actually chef de médecin for the French embassy in St. Lucia. So he handled all the French delegates and ambassadors coming in there. If anything happened to them, they would have to come to him. So he had built up that network, and that's part of his vision as well, built up that network of having Martinique or Lamina or Chum help us out with cases that we couldn't handle at home because of lack of medication or equipment or anything. And his benefits showed, especially during COVID, where we'd call Dabo and get oxygen on the boats, get medications on the boats during COVID, and that helped us out a lot. So Dr. Didier developed and he designed that network for us. And he did it very strategically. So especially with me, how he taught me how to do it, and who to call, where to call, what is SAMU, where is Lamina, that sort of thing. And so he was very strategic in that. So he had Dabo's number, and then Papagia for the access to SAMU, and this one for the access to the air ambulance, and so on, and Dr. Medawi at the time. And so strategically, he had people in place in Martinique who would be ready to respond to us for transferring patients, ill patients, critical patients on an air ambulance over to Martinique. So that's what he built up. He built up that solid network. And we still use it today because I still do it today, and that is what I do. And I help out OKU and St. Jude's who transfers to Martinique, and it is based on Dr. Didier's protocol. We actually have a transfer plan, a transfer protocol of who to call, when to call, how to call, that sort of thing to get patients into Martinique. And that was his brainchild, and that was his design. And Dabo is a big part of this. We must give him credit for that because he has helped us out tremendously. And like I said yesterday, he has helped us out. I call Dabo at all hours of the night. And I hope your wife doesn't complain when I call you. I call him at 2 in the morning, midnight, anytime. If I have a patient to transfer, Dabo has helped me. He's like, I'm not in Martinique, but I will help you. Or I'm in Africa, but I will help you. I'm in France, I will help you. I'm in Miami, I'll help you. I'm in Jamaica, anywhere I could call him, and he is the key to that network, a fundamental part of that. And he's helped us with every transfer to Martinique. That there's not one transfer that I have done or we have done to Martinique for critical care that has not gone through Dr. Didier's protocol or Dabo, and that is, and I actually want to thank Dabo for that, so we could give him a round of applause for that assistance as well. Yeah. And a round of applause for Dr. Didier for designing that protocol for us. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so that is part, historically, that is what he did. And he passed on all those numbers to us. He actually, at Tapion Hospital, he actually created a directory of SAMU, of who is in internal medicine, who is in surgery, who is in ICU at Lamina. So we actually have a directory of who to call and when to call, that sort of thing. Yeah? So these are this is more than snake bites. This is more than a snake bite cooperation. This is how deep his cooperation went. So much so to the point that we actually have access to the military helicopter in times of, dire emergencies. And that was his design as well. He was the first person to get them to send a military helicopter for a patient. And that was amazing because, how can you activate the people's military? And Dr. Didier did that, so he obviously had some pull. So like I said, I'm just riding on that right now, right? And we get so much help. During COVID was significant on a day-to-day basis just for advice and guidance. And even now, it's growing, and we're going to be building a platform with the neuroradiologist. Yeah, we want to be building a platform with her to manage stroke patients and to see if we could thrombolize stroke patients quickly. Do it here or even send them to Martinique. So you see that platform is just growing and growing. It just started with a friendship from Dr. Didier and his involvement with the French embassy and then the network he built and our transfer history and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to speak with that this is bigger than snake bites. The cooperation he built and that Dabo is a core part of is bigger than snake bites. It's more about healthcare and providing the healthcare where it is. And one of the things he always says is that St. Lucia is not, he always says, Benji, St. Lucia is not your horizon. And that is so true. If I cannot get care for somebody in St. Lucia and we can get the care in neighboring Martinique, we're going to get that care for that person. And that's what we do. Yeah? So I just wanted to share that little bit before we open the floor. Okay, so?
Yeah, but there is also Julien Fabre.
Yes. Oh yes. So another big part of that brainchild was, as you guys saw in the news, Tapio has now started the coronary angiograms, and they built a cath lab, and that was part of Dr. Didier and Dr. Daniel's brainchild to build a cath lab so that we could do our own angiographies and angioplasties. And Dr. Julian Fab, the interventional cardiologist in Martinique, is a big part of that. And they actually helped us with training. Our nurses went over and trained, and our doctors went over to train in Martinique and come back. And Dr. Fab even came back to help us and hold our hands with the first couple of cases. And that is tremendous. And that's all part of that cooperation. And not only that, but Dabo, you as well, we had nurses from OKU and Tapio going across to Martinique to train in critical care and ICU. And then we're getting ready for a second batch of training in Martinique as well. So all that is, the cooperation runs deep, guys. It's not just about a professional cooperation, but it's more of a friendship that's happening now. And it's growing from a friendship into a brotherhood and a sisterhood as well. So that is where we are headed with this, yeah?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the DJ's work. Now, if you, in the future, if you have a clot in your artery, coronary artery, you can go somewhere in this country and pull it out because there is no time to lose. Sometimes you're not going to reach Martinique. That's his good things. DJ, he has been working hard for that, so I think he's happy where he is and peace. So thank you very much for that. So, Mary, something else? Because I took the floor by myself. I talk too much. So.
No, it's just that I think his vision for health in St. Lucia was a vision of us cooperating together. A couple of weeks before he died, he actually was drafting something talking about the fact that we must not, I still have the paper, we must not exist in the health system in silos. That was one of the things that always worried him, that each unit, each organization seemed to be working very hard, but not communicating and cooperating with the other units. And his concept was that if we cooperated with each other, kept each other in the loop, shared staff, shared ideas, shared concepts, that the health system would go a lot further. And I actually still have the paper where he was writing what should be done in order to make the health service the best that it could be. And this meeting is all a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Didier. We, not only medical doctors, we have some other organizations like the OECS. Here you have a message from Dr. Didakis, Jules.
Distinguished members of the medical fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, members of the meeting. Today we gather to celebrate an extraordinary individual whose life and work have left an indelible mark not only on St. Lucia, but also on the wider Caribbean. Dr. Martin Didier stands as a beacon of excellence, a pioneer in medicine, and a compassionate leader whose dedication has enriched countless lives across the region. Dr. Didier's journey in medicine began with an unshakable commitment to service. Armed with a passion for healing and a deep, deep sense of purpose, he embarked on a path of redefine healthcare standards of science. From the very beginning, his approach to medicine was not just about treating illnesses, but about fostering holistic well-being. For him, every patient was a story, every challenge an opportunity, and every success testament to the power of care and innovation. His contributions extended beyond the consultation room and the operating team. Dr. Didier was instrumental in advancing medical education in professional standards and science, ensuring that the next generation of medical practitioners could build on a solid foundation of knowledge and ethical practice. His advocacy for healthcare reform underscored his unwavering belief that access to quality healthcare is a fundamental right of every individual, not a privilege. But what truly sets Dr. Didier apart was his humanity. He was not merely a doctor, but a confidant, a mentor, and a friend to the human. Whether serving in public health facilities, mentoring young professionals, or providing care in private practice, he exemplified a rare blend of humility and brilliance. His patients often speak of his reassuring presence, his ability to listen, and his tireless efforts to find solutions even in the most complex cases. Dr. Didier's influence also reached beyond science. As a regional advocate for medical collaboration, he championed the idea that private nations must work together to address shared health challenges, and he was constantly in discussion with us on the research and research. Through his leadership, the region saw the benefits of collective action in improving health outcomes and responding to emerging crises. While we honor his professional achievements, we also celebrate his qualities as a man of integrity, vision, and unrelenting dedication. Dr. Didier's life is a testament to what it means to serve with purpose, to lead with compassion, and to inspire with action. He has shown us that true greatness lies not in accolades, but in the lives we touch and the legacies we leave behind. Today, as we reflect on Dr. Martin Didier's remarkable journey, let us also embrace the values he exemplified: dedication, excellence, and service to humanity. Let us ensure that his legacy continues to inspire us to build a healthier, stronger, and more compassionate society for all. Dr. Didier's contributions will forever resonate in the hearts of those who serve and the many that we do. We are grateful for his life, his work, and the profound impact he has made. May his legacy continue to light the way for generations to come. May he rest in the peaceful, even while his example continues to illuminate our path. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jules Didacus is the director of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS. So it was a very good message. What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. Dr. Jules expressed, his sentiments are spot on, especially about his humanity and his integrity, not just his professionalism. I think most of us can attest to that as well.
Thank you. I would like to express also my gratitude to the government of St. Lucia, the Ministry of Health. Unfortunately, Honorable Dr. Moises cannot be here, but I thank the PS also, Mrs. Jenny. I think you present a little bit the ministry today. Yeah. You want to say something?
Thank you, Dabo. So yes, so we excuse the absence of the minister and the PS and the CMO and Dr. Eugene. They're out on official business overseas, and so I am representing on their behalf, on the Ministry of Health's behalf as well. And just want to thank Dabor and his team, Professor Gutierrez, the Costa Rican team, the Brazilian team. I think it's a fantastic conference, and bringing it to St. Lucia, you see the response you got from our EMTs, our firemen, our farmers, our forestry people, that we take it seriously, we take snakebite seriously, and I want to say that again, it's a bigger conference that we had in Martinique last year. So that's a sign that maybe you need to have more conferences in St. Lucia. Yeah?
Talking about the Ministry of Health, I would like, on behalf of the organizing committee, to say thank you to José. He's there. He's the master. So he's not talking so much, but I don't know, at the end, if you want to add something, but thank you very much for your help. Didier said to me, I present Didier to Dr. Florentin. Jonathan, he was more smaller at this time. Now he's a big man. Didier said to me, keep him, he's a good guy.
Thank you. Yes, when we first met with Dr. Didier, it was with his wife, and we had some 3 to 4 hours discussion about the future of medicine in the Caribbean, and he had a very clear vision for the health in the Caribbean and the future, and he told me, stick on Professor Dabor. Sometimes he has his head, but he's profoundly a kind person and someone who will bring you very far. So I follow this advice since today. And I only have to say thank you to Dr. Didier and his wife, and thank you for all you have done for the Caribbean.
So, José, the floor is open. The floor is open. We are ready. We can say everything about Dr. Didier, Snakebite, everything.
The Universal Health Program.
The Universal Health Program. Can you just say something now? I prefer you to talk now because you don't have to write nothing. That has to come from your heart. No paper. No traditional paper. Go ahead.
What a way of putting somebody on Good morning, everybody. My name is José Perez. I'm the USC Project Officer at the Ministry of Health. And also I'm deputy for our University of Health Director, who is on travel right now. She's in Thailand for work related. I had the opportunity to travel with Dr. Didier last year to the second Symposium in Martinique. I try to run somebody who can hold a conversation, and he gets you connected to the conversation because he's concise with what he's speaking about. He knows about it, and you will know that he's, if you're not following right, you will think that he was the one who got that federal institution. Because the way he mastered the knowledge around the forestry aspect of the island and the region, and his collaboration with Martinique as well, he was a guy who was preaching this. And his last conversation with me, Josue, we need to make sure that universal health coverage thing is a thing and it stays. I don't have the power to do that. But yes, but I pass the message. Dr. Benjamin is also here on behalf of the ministry, and he was as a part of that discussion. He also received that comment as well. But also both of us, beyond our power as well, all we can do is to channel the message. Your feedback today, the way you show up on Fridays, from Thursday, Friday, and today, is a proof to government of St. Lucia that there is further discussion, further investigation, and further investment to be made in that aspect when it comes to protect the habitat of our species. Again, the University of Cambridge plan as well to offer this service, although not a big crisis, example as thousands of snake bites every month or every day. But when it happens, it makes the news. So just that, we plan next year, as promised by our Honorable Minister, it's supposed to be one of the services that will be launched on the University of Cambridge, where we cover patients, snake bite patients. We are looking forward for it. We're working on documents. A lot of documents has to be passed, get the approval of the cabinet, and then before it can come out. But with the promise of our Honorable Minister, he agrees and he is pushing that we launch a service before that financial year under the University of Cambridge to offer the population. Those will, because the snake bite happens to the farmers, and those are the people who cannot afford the cost of the antivenom, which is very expensive. I know the community has the channel as well of getting the antivenom through the channel of central and pool procurement in the region. I believe that committee should still exist to work on that aspect and to make that antivenom affordable to the government, to get it as a government, make it easier, and for to the greater extent to get for the population to get it as they need it. I think I will not close now because we have more session coming in, so I will come later on for that. Thank you.
Thank you. The floor is open. Questions? Go ahead.
I just want to say that Josier is very fluent in French. So when we went on that symposium last year, he and Dr. Didier could speak French, and they were speaking French and left me out. We went to a restaurant and they were ordering food and I couldn't order anything. Anyway, let's go on.
Go ahead. Question?
Any questions?
For the question, you identify yourself and where you come from and what you're doing in life, and go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Dabo. My name is Dr. Kelvin Metalo. I'm from Jamaica. I don't have a question. I actually would like to make a comment. Good morning, Mrs. Lydia. How are you? Actually, I said to Abiola yesterday evening that I needed to come and look for you. And that after the conference today, that we definitely would have to find time to come and look for you, to say hello. And so I'm very glad to see you this morning. I just want to share a little bit of my very brief experience with Dr. Didier. I actually met his daughters first before I met him. I met his daughter Leah, who works in my department at the University Hospital. I am the Chief of Anesthesia and Intensive Care at the University Hospital of the West Indies. So she works in my department. And of course, I know Melanie as well, who is a consultant radiologist at the university.
Attention, she's there.
Yes, ma'am.
No. Attention, don't say anything bad.
I'm nothing bad to say. Wonderful. We actually, in his last visit to Jamaica, I got an opportunity to actually have a first-hand experience about his vision and his vision for the Caribbean, his vision for cooperation, for medical cooperation. Of course, medical cooperation in the Caribbean have always been the anthem of Professor Dabo, and so in our numerous conversations and in our numerous meetings, it's been his vision. But I actually got to see maybe where Dabo got that inspiration from, the very person perhaps who actually sowed the seed of medical cooperation. And it's really, like has been said by most persons, it's really more than snakebite. It's a lot more than snakebite. It's actually about interconnectedness, about the peoples of the Caribbean, about critical care, about medicine, about radiology, about services, about radiotherapy, about how you could, use the resources within the area to benefit the people of the area, and also use that as a means of bringing people closer. So it was really, really the short periods of time that I had to spend with him while he was in Jamaica, while he was there for treatment, and even in the course of treatment, we were discussing medical cooperation. And he said to me, the very same thing I've heard from at least one or two other speakers this morning, the same thing, saying, we need to make this thing work. We need to make this. He said to me, Dr. Metalo, you guys need to connect, and you need to make this thing work. And I am really so glad to see was a fantastic human being. Such persons were a rare, fantastic human being. So I just want to use this opportunity to express my profound admiration for Dr. Martin Didier, and to say thank you to Mrs. Didier, thank you to Leah, to Melanie, for sharing such a wonderful man with the entire people of the Caribbean, in the words that were written of the great United States President Abraham Lincoln when he passed. The word says that now he belongs to the ages. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Metalo. I know you had a good, long trip yesterday from Jamaica to reach here. It's difficult. Maybe cooperation will bring something in the future for us to go straight. So we're going to get more questions, but it's coffee break. We take the last question. Okay, coffee break, and we will be back here. We have much more for you. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I do not have a question. Maybe
But what you doing in life?
Yeah.
Where you come from? What you doing in life?
Okay, I'm Yolanda Sendo. I'm the principal nursing officer for Denver Hospital. I met Dr. Didier and his wife when I was a student nurse, and they became a nurse 1993 to 1996. And I recall working on the ward, old medical ward, and then the male ward to the front and so on. And we mentored young doctors. I recall when Dr. Colin Snack came in and so. I also benefited from the corporation as a patient, and I want to share my experience. In 2022, I had a medical emergency, and I was diagnosed at Tapio Hospital. I just had one visit. I was diagnosed, and within 3 days I was in Martinique, and I had surgery the following day. And that's why I met Dr. Dabo.
Ah, you met me.
In ICU after recovering from my surgery. And I want to speak to all of us here, no matter what we do, what contribution we make, that we are part of the corporation. How we treat persons, how we connect to others, and that we all have a contribution to make. It's not the job title and what you do. And all this come under the One Health. So I just want to express my thanks to Dr. Didier and family, Dr. Dabo. I'm very thankful, and I appreciate the treatment I got in Martinique. I recovered. I spent 14 days, and I've been doing well. And thank you very much. I look forward for the continuous work, not only in Snakebite, but I see that more cooperation is coming on. I saw the article on the radiology unit and so on. So I hope that cooperation will grow even bigger, and we all will benefit and contribute towards it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Coffee break. Much more to come.
Papa Gia has a question. Papa Gia.
I have 1 minute before the question.
I am Papa Gay. I am the chief of the emergency medical service in Martinique. In Martinique, I am the chief of Dabar, and here Dabar is my chief. I meet Dr. Didier in 1917 here in Rockledge. I came to visit Kids Compton, and Dr. Didier invited me to dinner here in Rockledge. When I was here, I am very sad to not meet Dr. Didier
again.
From this day until his death, we are also in contact, in touch. Dr. Didier is a good man, generous, near to the patients, and every time you call me and we try to make cooperation between Saint Lucia and Martinique also clear. I am very sad. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And from Dakar to Martinique to Saint Lucia, when Papa Gay said he's very sad, he's truly sad. Thank you very much. We will go back. Break, coffee break. Thank you. will have lunch after all. Lunch. I don't know the menu. Maybe that will be quite good. Quite good. You know the menu? Huh? So thank you for staying with us. So I will give a few words to one of our colleagues from Beaufort. She, at the beginning, she was asking a lot of questions, but very good questions. I think she's interesting, really, on the subject of snake bite. And I would like to say also a few words about Beaufort Hospital. It's not only Tapion. We talk about Tapion because last night Tapion did offer us a good dinner. We have to tell the truth. So Didier, Rommel, and the board of Tapion, they wanted to participate also, and the adventure. And usually they send us a lot of patients. Over 80% of your patients coming from Saint Lucia to Martinique come from Tapion. OKU, we have good relationship with them, our colleagues, and also St. Jude. Sometimes we don't talk so much about St. Jude, but we have a big delegation from St. Jude Hospital. Dr. Francois, you want to say something? Go ahead. Can you give the microphone, Dr. Francois?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm Melissa Francois. I'm an internal medicine specialist at St. Jude Hospital.
Music.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, so fortunately, I have met Dr. Dabo, and our hospital and some of our patients have benefited from the collaboration with Martinique. So I'm very grateful to Dr. Didier for establishing that protocol and being able to benefit. I did mention to him that, we're in the South, sometimes we're often neglected. And I do want to remind him that St. Jude's, we attend to almost half of the population, and we would be very grateful to be part of any collaborative effort with Martinique so that our patients can get that benefit as well. So thank you, Dr. Dabu, and looking forward to continuing that work.
Thank you. Yes. Before I let my colleague say some words, I think he's on call, He cannot stay longer, but I'm glad because he's not going to have lunch. So I can eat more. Go ahead.
On St. Jude's.
No. Say bye-bye.
Everybody, it was a great, I had a great time being here. Very good conference, great participation from our nurses. I see all our nurses from OKU and from Tapion, our doctors, our junior doctors from both facilities, from St. Jude's as well, and from Denry Hospital. I recognize some people as well. The firemen, the EMTs, big turnout. The forestry team, very big turnout. It shows good interest in snakebite prevention and management. And thank you for having me and the opportunity. Thank you, Dabo. Thank you, everybody. Professor Gutierrez, Marie, and Costa Rican team, Brazilian team, Martinican team. Thank you, everybody. Solution team, most importantly. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Benjamin. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Tessa Robinson from the South St. Jude's Hospital. I am a registrar in the OPC department. I sometimes work in the emergency room also. I want to say first and foremost thank you to all the persons who have organized this seminar, this workshop, this conference, on the snake bite. When I saw the email, I was really interested in it, but I said, you know, I'm not going to put my name, I'm not going to do anything in terms of trying to come. Let's see who else, which younger doctors would like to come as such. Then I was approached, matter of fact, the entire OPC doctors who were approached about coming, and so happened almost everybody apparently knew Dr. Dabo, who had worked also, I think the other doctors had worked at St. Jude's and they worked with dual medicine, and apparently they had some more information that the snake bite, and even the other younger doctor, he was also at OKU, and so he also knew that, and so they said, okay, they will not go because they have X, Y, and Z, and they had some other commitment. So it fell on me to come, and I was like, I'm so happy to be here because this area of snakebite management, for me, I was clueless in terms of it. I know there was antivenom, but where was it? I was not sure of how we administer what to do about that. And the conference, I must say, I have gotten at least a protocol that is being used in St. Lucia that I was not really aware of. And now I know how to execute such management to the patient. I think it's an excellent information, and for us as doctors and young doctors, I believe, should be able to know this, and I will also take that back and ensure, check to see whether we have the protocol in place. We may have it, but I was not aware. And ensure that that is known to every ER physician and OPC doctors. I will also want to say that the other thing I would like to see in the community DMOs are also here, some of them are here, that same information and the protocol should be made available in your various health centers as such. So you will have, and you will know, and you should have some, you know where to get it from, and ensure, nurses, please ensure that it is there, is being stocked, because many times when we need certain medication at the health center, and I asked the nurses, I had an opportunity to do that at times, and they said, but we don't keep that, we don't stock this, the doctors won't use it. And so my appeal there, is to encourage the nurses at the health centers to ensure that we get certain things in line and available as such. So that's one. The second thing too, I have learned so much more about the development of the venom and all the stages that it went through and that are going through, and the current researches that are being done, and even the work that Aaron has been doing. I saw with the new antivenom and the polyvalent ones and so on. I think that's an excellent area. And I mean, for those who love to be involved in research and like have those ideas, I think is a wonderful area for our own local people also who have interest in those areas, that somewhere in the future through this collaboration that they can be encouraged and given an opportunity to, you know, share their interest. Just like how Dr. Dabo was very upset when he saw the article by Dr. doing writing about the Caribbean snakes, the snake and so on. And he was like, you know, and he reached out and he spoke to Dr. Didier, and Dr. Didier said, okay, look, you make a writing, send him an email. And sometimes that's how things happen, we stumble into it as such. And so that's one of the future I would like to recommend, that something like that happens, so that even like, for instance, our forester persons who are very much there dealing with it, that they too may have, somebody might be very passionate. You don't want anybody that do not have a passion to enter into, but have a passion and they show that they want to do it, and they too can, be a part of this whole larger development and management and taking it further. So I believe we can have our own people here who might be interested in the research and doing the work and collaborate with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Talking about, thank you for your témoignage or your point. So, but when we were trying to organize the third conference, Symposium here, and my conversation at the beginning with you, I told you, sir, I think the Minister of Health of St. Lucia, they were asking for something more likely public health, One Health. For that, we choose to address the issue of One Health and snakebite. We were discussing a lot of things about primary care, and we identify one or two teams, like the team of Manaus, your team, and also in Costa Rica, our own, when I was there, and we were talking about the education, primary care. And I have seen in some indigenous areas some papers, very interesting papers about that. So can we ask our colleagues from Manaus to say one or two key things that we can use in the case of St. Lucia about the primary care, or can we apply? What can we do with those colleagues in the health centers, remote health centers, right? What we call maison médicale in French. So can you give us some key, because now I know after a lot of talks from yesterday and the other day, we have a key figure of this problem here. So I would like to hear from Dr. Montero and Jacqueline. Can you give us some idea? Because at the end, we're going to write something. We're going to advise the ministry.
Thank you, Dr. First of all, cannot go without saying that I am impressed with the presentations showing the impact of the introduction of the antivenoms in your country in terms of reduction of mortality, from more than 10% of lethality among the cases, and today we don't see more death among your snakebite patients. And this was I was very happy to see this, and there are things that only these collaborations that you were part with CHEMA, these collaborations between Santa Lucia with the institutions that are producing antivenoms, and Martinique obviously with the antivenoms that they have there. And this is, I don't know if you saw this, how wonderful it is to see this impact for our population. We don't see more people dying from snake bites, and this is actually wonderful. And I need to congratulate you and your team. And without the participation of your professionals, your nurses, your doctors, this would be not possible. And you must be proud of that. In the Amazon, we have a long way to run to be closer of this achievement. You have this because of our geographic dimensions your remote communities. But I want to see in my life a similar impact, even in a group, a sample of the communities we are working there. This is fruit of collaboration, of determination, and especially professionals devoted actually to what they promised to do for the patients. I don't know if it's the time to start to say goodbye, but I thank you. I would like to thank you all again for this opportunity, Dabor, to be here at this beautiful symposium. Okay, there were very pleasant days in your presence here, from which I learned a lot from efforts and from the scientific part of the symposium. Okay, at this moment I can only say that I am glad I choose to be a researcher, because being a researcher, the life give me this opportunity to be here, and research in the area of snake bites, knowing with the opportunity of know people like Chema, like you, like Jonathan, where is Jonathan, like you, like Professor Hemi, then I hope actually to collaborate more and more with you, producing evidence to support our ministries of health to better take care of our patients. And it's good to see what we are doing here, planning together, that this can be helpful for our patients. Thank you also to the sponsors of our trip and our accommodation here, obviously. We need more and more strength our collaborations. I was talking to Professor Hemi about some possible collaborations in terms of pathophysiology studies, comparing your different envenomations caused by your Botrops species. I see this as a possibility to be started in a short term. Maybe some clinical studies, multi-center clinical studies that we can do together, especially for new treatments, for the patients, new protocols for the care of the patients. Okay, please visit us in Manaus. You have friends in Manaus. If you want to know our hospital there, I don't know if we can learn more than you already know, but the experience, I think the cultural experience is also important to see how our doctors, our professionals think about this problem, and it will be a pleasure receive you in Manaus. We are planning also maybe a symposium, a workshop together. We have a call in Brazil that is receiving applications from partnerships between France and researchers from the Brazilian Amazon. I hope this will have success with this application together, and in the first semester of 2015, 2025, next year, we'll be joining together in Manaus with people from here, Santa Lucia, from Martinique, and this is my impression that we'll be successful in this application. And again, thank you for the opportunity of meet you in person, Professor Dabor, and congratulations to you and to your team for the realization of this symposium.
Thank you very much. Answer about the collaboration.
Yes. Yes, scientific collaboration. Yes, excuse me, just a few words. Thank you for your very good word, Dr. Montero. Just to say that collaboration or cooperation between the countries is just a matter of fact, and discussion should go on. And regarding the previous interaction between Brazil and France, I already exchanged with a team. It's not on snakebite, but it's on air pollution, which is a One Health issue. We already collaborate with a Brazilian institution in Sao Paulo. So I'm sure what we expect altogether will be done in the very next future. Again, thank you for your open mind, everybody. It's discussion between scientists and with non-scientists is very important. And I was really impressed about what you say regarding the traditional medicine and the fact that we have to consider and to get more information from that ground field. Again, thank you all, and cooperation is a key word for the next future.
Thank you very much. We're going back in a few minutes to our colleague Jacqueline, but somebody was waiting for a question. Yeah. We take that question first, and after Jacqueline.
Hi, good day. My name is Vanessa Joseph Etienne. I'm the only person here attached to Mental Wellness Center at MHMC. And what I would like to say is, oftentimes we have these symposiums, these conferences, and we forget mental health. We forget the impact that all these things have on the mental health, not only of the individual, the patient, but the family. So what I'm asking is that in the research moving forward, that we do some research in regards to how does that snake bite affect the family as a whole, not only the patient. Because we live in somebody without an income, we live in maybe a child, because in the Amazon, from what I noticed, it was a lot of children. Have we ever thought of, okay, that child? Tomorrow, did somebody have a counseling referral written for that patient? How is that patient moving forward in life? Now he has one leg, now he has no friends. And so I'm saying all this to say is that we need to think about mental health in everything. Even in the distribution of persons coming here, only one person came from mental health. And we do these things not thinking of the impact, the greater impact of the whole situation. We have to look at the big picture. So when the research is being done, please let's do some research in regards to how does it affect the mental health of the persons being affected by the situation. Thank you very much.
Very good point. Jonathan, we have seen a lot of patients and outpatient. Some of them, they come with anxiety, less than 5%.
Yeah, less than 5%. It's manifest by very frequent difficulties to sleep, nightmares, and they adopt sometimes the verification thoughts. They look 10 times under the car, they look 10 times back of the door, they look 10 times under the bed, and it can continue for months. But we have a psychologist
ils nous disent ça, les patients.
C'est vrai qu'ils
ont peur.
Ils ont l'anxiété, dépression.
I don't know if it's the good word of PTSD.
Yes. Oh yeah, very good, Jonathan. But we're going to listen the master.
Well, I completely agree with what you said. And this is an area that has been explored to a very little extent and has a great impact in the quality of life of many, many people. Because a person bitten by suffering snakebite envenoming goes to the hospital, receives the antivenom, survives, and goes back to the community. And the consequences of this event are multifold. There may be economic consequences, psychological consequences, depression, anxiety, stress disorders, and these consequences affect not only the person bitten by the snake, as you very well said. There is what has been called an expanding wave of social suffering, not only in the person, but in the family, in the community as a whole. And this is an aspect that has received little attention and needs to be considered, not only in research, but also in intervention, in public health, in following up of these people. So your point is very well taken, and this is an area that should be pursued in our efforts to reduce the human suffering caused by these envenomings. Thank you for your comment.
I totally agree, and in some cases what happens is, on the one hand, forestry is telling us about conservation and maintenance of the species, but on the other hand, after a snakebite envenomation, the knee-jerk response within the entire community is, as we say, the only good snake is a dead snake. So therefore, it is not only that we have to do the family unit and so on, but we have to do interventions within the community to get them to understand we need to protect ourselves, but we don't need to eliminate the snake, which is the knee-jerk reaction which takes place after a snake bite. We have got to get rid of them. So the intervention is at the psychological level for the immediate people, but also at the community level for those in the community, so we don't get mass destruction of snakes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Didier. Jacqueline, I think you have, we have read your papers. I like the way you wrote your papers. This team, very good papers, and plus,
It is.
respect. So, do you want to tell us what you think about all we just talked about?
Yes, first of all, thank you for this beautiful opportunity for discussion about snakebite. And well, the words is my words too. Many thank you for staying here, for the board and all the team. Thank you for assistance and assistance well. And I totally agree with her and with all the table about the snakebite. And in my experience in Brazil, and for me, education is the point. Education of the population and education of the health professional. When I talk about the health professional, I included all the team, doctor, nurses, technician, community agent, all the level of the profession. Because in Brazil, the decentralization of antivenom is possible only because the professional accept the responsibility and they accept the care the patient is the point. And when started the indigenous population is more challenged because the traditional care, because the indigenous population is a ritual, is a different concepts, and I need to adapt the assistance with traditional concept about snakebite. And I don't know what happened in Santa Lucia or Martinica, for example. I don't know how many people or how many different concepts, the hospital, for example. But in Brazil, the decentralization is more access for antivenom is the best for the patient, and the mental damage, the physical damage is no finish, but is very low damage for the future for this patient. And for me, this education is the point. But when the group and building the program for this logistic, for the treatment, for a good treatment, a good access, for the antivenom is the best point, and they reduce the damage. And I think Dr. Didier accepted this concept when brought the antivenom to Santa Lucia, Martinica. Is a brilliant idea for the care for the patient, for the care for the neglected disease like a snake bite. And thank you for this opportunity. I am wonderful for this symposium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we go to another question, thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. Education of our nurses, doctors, health professionals. The program over there in Costa Rica, talking about education, about those things. Can you tell us something?
Thank you guys, and good morning.
Present yourself, Prof.
Okay.
They don't know you.
Aaron Gomez, crazy guy with his legs. I think with the educational programs in Costa Rican girls, and Dr. Vickers probably has a lot more to say. But we have been doing, let's say, it's a combination, but we have this social extension with outreach. And we are, at some point, we just started the indigenous populations, because we have probably, I don't know, 6 to 7 agencies. So anyhow, we aim for at least 2 of them. We kind of trying to do some of taking their own costumes and try to put in paper to easily understand each other in terms of the scientific, not scientific, and the community science that we can reach out and try to put it in their words, so we can have an easy path or access to just get to the community and tell them that the snakes, as the traditional thought, is as demons or devils, right? So we are trying to just to call to consciousness and awareness of the whole situation regarding the snake bites. So most of the education programs and plans has to be, we just try to avoid the shaman, the healer first, and then go to the primary care system or center and get attention that you will need it. But at the same time, it's just not stopping the healer. I mean, you can go to the healer, try to have some herbs, because of course there is a scientific proof that some herbs, some secondary metabolites have some, let's say, some good effects on the anti-inflammatory, anti-immunologic. So you can go and try those, but at the same time, just move to the primary health groups. So mainly, basically, for educational programs, considering all the community and try to do, at least in my case, it would be biology of the snakes and try to demystify, debunk the snakes, because they are evil as a Bible, but in other cultures their knowledge. So we are trying to do that kind of both way, just one tool. So it's just, you can go to here and have some treatment, but at the same time you just go and try to collect the primary health attention. And we are just doing, trying to become the snake as a need, and try to get into the communities in their own customs and languages. So that's mainly the Costa Rica example that we have. And again, I will take the opportunity to thank you all guys for having us here. The program is also, it's nothing on board now, but we will get in after. Jonathan, of course, all the panel, all the people in San Lucia, you guys have excellent weather. But the food is actually very nice. I will
Thank you very much. So, maybe Professor Nevia, we can ask again Professor Gutierrez, because yesterday he was talking about education of nurses, doctors, everything. After we will get that question, but Professor Gutierrez, we're going to ask you to explain, to give us some clue about the education. Yes.
Yes, well, actually, the knowledge which is built through scientific research should be projected to the community as a whole. And in our institute, we have a permanent, as Aaron explained, a permanent extension program which has two main branches. One is a branch directed towards health professionals and students. So it's very important for us to constantly keep having seminars, workshops, and so on I wouldn't say instruct, but to have this communication with health professionals. And this is a double-way communication, a two-way communication, because I don't know if this is it's a two-way communication because okay. Sorry, I was saying that this is a two-way communication because perhaps more important, we get a lot of information from the people in the clinical setting, having the direct experience of treating snake bites. So for us, this is very important to get this experience, this information, because as we have discussed in these seminars, snakebite envenoming is a very different picture depending on each case, depending on which species or which kind of the patient and so on. So this two-way communication with the clinical environment of the clinical people is very important. This involves not only physicians but also nurses, also public health technicians, microbiologists, pharmacists, and so on. So this is one area which is very important. And due to the complexity of snakebite envenoming and to the fact that it is a medical emergency that should be treated rapidly and effectively, these permanent education programs are very important. So this is an area that should be strongly considered. And the other branch of this extension program that we have, as Aaron explained, is the programs directed to the communities, to the high-risk communities. So we try to identify which are the communities having highest risk of snake bites, particularly indigenous community, rural communities, so on. So we have a permanent extension program there. In our university, we have a requirement for students to graduate to provide 300 hours of work, of community work, as a requirement for graduation. And this is I think very important because we have it is called community work, university community work, and we have a program of university community work at our institute. So the students really collaborate, going to the communities and providing this basic knowledge of how to prevent snake bites, how react in the case of snakebite. Because in the long term, prevention and effective action after a snakebite are the main interventions that would reduce this disease. But again, as we have been discussing, this contact with the community should be based on a dialogic approach, not an arrogant approach going from the science to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Communities constantly build knowledge in their daily life. They build knowledge on the basis of their daily experience, and they know a lot about snakes and snake bites and how to deal with them. So this extension program should be dialogic. There is this concept in anthropology called ecology of knowledges, this exchange of knowledges between the scientific knowledge and the knowledge raised in the community in everyday practice. So through this exchange of knowledge, through this ecology of knowledge, we learn from the experience in the community and we convey the basic aspects of prevention. And I am proud to say that in Costa Rica, most people bitten by snakes thank in part to these extension programs and also to the development of our public health system. People rapidly go to the hospital after a snake bite, and this really helps the evolution of the cases and of the patients. So it's this permanent communication between science, medicine, public health, and communities and professionals and so on, this dialogue in the society is very important to effectively confront this problem and many other problems, not only from the health issue, but also in other aspects of life. So I think this should be a key component in any strategy. In fact, the WHO strategy for reducing controlling and reducing the impact of snakebite, the 4 pillars of this strategy, one of the pillars is the engagement and involvement of communities. So it's an important pillar that has to be considered in any effort in this field.
Thank you, Professor Gutierrez. Remember, you are still at the snakebite and One Health concept, community, human health, animal health, plus the community. So we have a question, Jonathan.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Paris Isaacson, Ministry of Agriculture, Veterinary and Livestock Services Division. But I will speak on my direct hat, which is apiculture. I believe we should establish mapping zones, especially apiculture beekeeping. We notice, well, because of melissophobia, which is the fear of bees, most beekeepers go out of the urban and even deep into the rural communities, and you will find the snakes under the hives because they will have a certain temperature, so the snakes will go there to keep warm. When I studied in Venezuela, mostly everybody would go out with chimo. Jono says if people know what chimo is, it's a tobacco paste, and it's made from black tobacco, and they will spit it on certain points of the farm and it will chase the snakes away. So if we map in these areas, we can also encourage people to plant black tobacco around the perimeters of their farms to keep away the snakes, chase them away. And in education, let's not forget our children, because sometimes when we are hardbacks, older people, we don't pick up things that easily, but if we have a child, the child will remind us. So sometimes we forget the children, and the children can teach us more than we ever learn. So I believe education should start at the preschool level on this and go up to change the tradition, because when you go out in the rural community and you just speak generally, you hear the little boy say, I saw a snake and I kill it. I take a stick and I kill it. But if we teach them early to respect nature, respect environment, they will teach the older our handbacks.
You want to answer her?
Comment?
Tu veux ajouter quelque chose?
Non, non, c'est très bien.
In mapping for ecotourism, mostly everybody likes ecotourism or agri-tourism. Some people go out far and they might meet herbs or snakes that we don't even know about. And if we map them, we can guide them through the tourist industry. Do not venture out in these places, and we can establish proper mitigation against snakebite for international incidents. That's just my point.
Thank you very much. It's very good, what you said. So, it's very good. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Forrester, you want to say something? Not too long.
Yes, so we would like to definitely encourage the various groups, like the apiculture groups and the farmers to continue having the level of education for them, because the forestry department, we've been having those little workshops and seminars with them, but I would like to encourage them to continue contacting forestry so that they could learn, because what we have noticed based on our observations, when it comes to snake safety, we have to look at these 4 pillars, and the first among it is vigilance. Okay, so typically we let our farmers know that whenever they venture out into the farms, the first thing that is necessary to do is usually to just undertake a scan of the area that you are working with. So for example, the beekeepers, they have the bee boxes and so on. It is important that they just scan through your area, look under your bee boxes, your shed, your garden. If you were to undertake the task of weeding before you actually start weeding, it would be good to just walk through the perimeter of your farm, make some noise, use a stick or something, rattle the area, so that at least if there are any snakes around, they will, more or less flush out before you actually undertake your work. So the vigilance is key. Vigilance is key. You have to keep your eyes open, and you have to be aware of the area that you are working with, the habitat, what it contains, and so on. Also, as we have heard, the education is quite important. This is, for us, another big pillar. So we need to have a lot of public awareness. In St. Lucia, we find that persons typically lack knowledge as it relates to identification of snakes, because we do have 4 different snake species in St. Lucia. And most times persons have difficulty distinguishing between the St. Lucia boa and the St. Lucia featherless. And so that education, at that level will be important for them as well. So not only do we need to educate our health professionals, in the snakebite protocols, the administration of antivenom and so on, we need also to focus on the community as well. It's very important that we do that, because they are the ones, who are the first line. In fact, they are on the front lines, the farmers, the residents and so on. And our foresters, we ourselves would need a lot more technical training, technical assistance, procurement of tools and equipment, that is very important, so to help us execute our work and so on. So personal protective equipment is the other key one, and our snake boots, leggings and so on, gloves, these things are key in helping not only foresters, but also all those persons who are on the front lines, like the farmers, persons like surveyors and so on. So these 4 pillars, vigilance, education, personal protective equipment, and technical training, is where we want to reach. Because as I've said earlier, there is this disconnect between the conservation of the snake species and what you hear on the ground. Because persons in the communities, whenever forestry talks about, whenever we speak about anything to do with conservation of snakes, people actually want to stone us in some cases. I remember we had a case where we extracted a featherless from one of our communities, and the community folks, they were aware that we came in and we extracted the snake. It was for a workshop or seminar just like this one. And 3 days after, we came back to the very same community to release the snake. And we received a lot of pushback, and the folks actually wanted to stone us because they were saying, y'all came and y'all got the snake out already, and you guys are actually coming back to put back, this same venomous reptile. What if, it is the one who hurts somebody thereafter tomorrow or something like this? So there is this huge disconnect, and it is not a very popular subject out there to tell persons that, we need to conserve the featherless. And we need to understand the plight of the community folks, because they are the ones who actually live in the snake areas. They are the ones who work in the snake areas. They are the ones who actually get bitten and get hurt. Okay, so we need to understand their plight, because it's legitimate. You could get complications. You could get lifelong disabilities and so on. And so we need to see how best we can bridge the gap between the conservation and actually the fear and the phobia that persons have for snakes. And so, as I've said before, I would like to look forward to the collaboration amongst all the major stakeholders. Thank you.
When you talk about equipment, it's to go to, if I'm a farmer, actually, what kind of equipment are you talking about?
Yes, so for equipment, snake equipment is simple. You have to have, in fact, whenever you venture out into a snake environment, you need to have the appropriate footwear. And I am sure as professionals we will understand that majority of persons who get bitten by snakes, they are from the poor demographics and so on. And most times they venture out and they don't even have proper footwear. And this is important. So snake boots is one of the footwear that we recommend. In a case where persons have no professional snake boots, anything that covers your feet is better than nothing. Okay, so footwear is absolutely important, because most of the snake bites happens at the lower extremities, your feet and your hands and so on. So we need to get this covered. And I'm sure at the hospitals, those persons who present at the hospitals with snake injuries, most times they will tell you, oh, they were in a snake area, they had open sandals, open shoes, and so on. And so we see the link where lack of knowledge, persons get hurt because of lack of knowledge. For example, I know of a case where somebody got bitten in the ancillary area, and it was already nighttime. They were at a waterfall. It was nightfall, and this is exactly the time when the featherlesses come out. Yeah. So if you are armed with the knowledge that featherlesses are nocturnal and they typically come out when the sun is about to set and so on, then you, knowing that you are in a snake area, you have to make your way out before that happens. And even when you venture into that snake area, you have to know that you have to have a proper footwear, because that guy who got bitten, if only he had the proper footwear, it would not have been so devastating to him. So leggings is another one. So the leggings come from the waist all the way down, dripping down to your feet. But of course, for handling, you could use the gloves.
So who's going to give that to the family?
Well, I'm hoping that Dr. Abo will assist us.
Jonathan, what we farmers, agricultural people, you tell them, don't avoid to put their hands where you don't see your leg, because on fer de lance, when it's going to beat you, you're not going to even have that boot is going through that boot. But we say we recommend people like you to wear it. I'm not saying you don't have to wear it, but we have to tell the truth to them also. So, because whenever you will get some. Okay? This is what it's not, I didn't say that it's Dr. Thomas for me, for us. We get some cases where some patients they were wearing boots and they still get back. We do, I don't know the name, but I'm not saying it again. I'm telling you to show you what kind of velocity sometimes the lungs. So I think the most important thing is that people to have clean areas, to clean their houses. If you go into the bush, don't put your hands, legs somewhere you don't see. This is what kind of things we explain to our farmers. What else we say to those people? If you're going to the rondo, if you're going to walk, you don't go alone, you need to talk with somebody. Still have a food. If you're eating, you just have to stay immobilized. You don't have to work. The case yesterday, we have some patients that are ready, they don't have the phone, they have to walk long way to go to the station to get the phone to call. That's the venom still going to explain, the expression of the venom, we don't need that. You have to protect yourself, to look around you if there is no other space, because sometimes it's not only one, and you protect yourself. If you are with Jonathan, he's going to tell you, don't worry, we're going to help you, just put the leg or the member height like that down for the situation of the blood and the blood. We don't recommend tourniquets. You say no. If you have a smaller one, not so less, you don't have to use it, because we have a lot of patients with necrosis, with a lot of complications. That is those recommendations we give to people. So I think the most questions we got from our patients or from our communities is about tourniquets. Can I put it? Can I put some lime on, some lime? Can I put some oil? Those kind of things we say no. Just get something for the pain, some Tylenol for the pain. Just reassurance. Tell the person you're going to get to the hospital as soon as possible. And Martin, you have to call the 15, number 15, as soon as possible. And that is the SAMU. And you have to reach the hospital, because today we have good antivenom. That is the treatment best you have to get. Sir, you knew that. You knew. What's his name?
Okay, my name is Donald Anthony. Actually, I know Dr. D.D. He's a phenomenal, he was a phenomenal doctor, very, very conscious of the plight of conditions. And what Dr. I found was most interested in the Ferdinand in terms of getting a remedy and getting treatment for the Ferdinand. And many years ago, while I was still working in the forestry department, actually I was a wildlife officer. I worked for 25 years in most of the areas in the island, especially on Skerry, Canaries, Dennery, Louisville, most of the snake infested areas. And I took capture the snake for exhibition and he was happy. And he told me, make sure I bring a snake to him so I can milk it in the lab. And that, I remember going out there, I had a big specimen, over 6 feet. And when I got to the lab, he was there with another guy, just a green out. And after I entered into the sack, they all left the room. They went in another room and they were peeping. They were peeping for a crack. So I asked for a plastic glove and I nailed the suit. And after they put it back in the sack, oh, it was one pilgrim. It was one pilgrim and Dr. Didi. And then he took the venom. Actually, he was supposed to have sent the venom to a doctor in Oxford University in England to do some further research. I'm not sure what he did of it. But he was a special guy. And he was very, very concerned about people being envenenated by the poison. And people, one thing I want to say, which was not said at all, is that the snake is more frightened of you than you frightened of it. And that is something most people don't know. And I've actually proved it on several occasions. One time in Pulis, in a house of food, the way interior, I caught a huge snake. There were about 5 of them in the fish of the parrots. And one guy passed close to us in the river and he hit his boots. But it was kind of early morning, too cold, it was sluggish. So I came and I caught it. I put it in the sand, and I went by the river bank, it was a big area of sand. And I told them, listen, today I will prove to you that the snake is more frightened of you than the frightened of you. I just drop it on the bank, and you're walking towards it. And the snake actually go away from you, it will move away from you. In another occasion, in a house in Southfields, there were people there, and I was proving to them again in Southfields. I had a snake for the exhibition. So it was my uncle's driving school. So I went to the driving school and told them I have a snake. But when I said I have a snake, they just stampede. So I told them, okay, watch. I'll prove to you that the snake is fighting with you. I just dropped it on the floor. It will move far away from them. But it's fighting with you. But people don't do that. And they want just to kill the snake at full sight. But this snake holds high promise for medical research. And I've heard Dr. Didi with a paper on one of the workers who worked in millet that was bitten by a snake. And this guy, which I'm not sure why, it's a miracle he's still alive. Because they found a lot of bleeding in his brain, many organs, and because of the quick, effective action by Dr. Didi and also Jimmy Fletcher, the PSN. He was told to mark me, and he was given antivenom, and he's now still alive. Thank you very much.
If there is no antivenom, right, how we are alive. Thanks to the University of Costa Rica, we have now. But you believe if one day we don't have that, we have some good job. Stock good job. So you believe the doctors, nurses, are supposed to do the same thing in DJ called marketing?
They should. Right. But if we have the antivenom, it can be administered. But if we don't have, the only cause is marketing.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll move on here. Antivenom. He's a guy who's not going to talk so much, but he's the chief of the production, I think, the University production. He's the one to help us to understand the concept of antivenom. Yesterday we did a good presentation, but I like what he said. If one day we don't have polyvalent ICP, we can always, in the past, we used to treat those patients on ICP. Okay? Can you say 2 words about antivenom?
We are working in the characterization of the experience and safety of our antivenom in Martinique and Indonesia. No matter how well the antivenom is working, all the time it could be performance, have a better performance. Our work is find new ways to do our antivenom better. And the mission, one of our goals is to improve the efficacy and safety of our antivenom from the Caribbean, and maybe a new formulation or a new version of our antivenom for this rain that is
we are working on.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. And we have a lot of fire officers. Fire officers, sorry, sir. I think you are interested in Snakebite.
Yes, I have to say, at least every ambulance has at least a picture of one snake on the president. That's the star of life on the ambulance. So every ambulance has a picture of at least one snake.
He's looking on the
A little less.
Yes.
Okay. On behalf of my colleagues, I want to appreciate, express gratitude for being invited to this forum. But there are some other things I would like to say without opportunity. Most of the times when we have forums like that, we are invited, but when we have future collaborations, we don't get the invitation, so we have a voice. So I try to use the opportunity to say some things. EMS have a big impact on healthcare in that we help reduce mortality rate, the cost of healthcare, improve patient outcomes because we are trained professionals. But because of limited integration into the system, we are not as effective as we should be. For now, we have been, progress. We have been trying to get our treatment protocols adopted by the administration. Somehow there's no follow through. So I mentioned this is for to follow from there. Also, our standing orders, these are not being adopted. And then our plans is to the future to have continuing medical education. We still have to send youth, but we want OKU and the other hospitals to involve us, and also to have our own conferences as groups in EMS. Okay, so I hope in the future that we'll have collaborations with you guys.
Are you afraid of snakes?
I said a little less, because I actually was in the room with 2 snakes.
Thank you. I have a question over there.
Absolutely.
Everything in the paper. Sir.
So this is why we have meetings like these that bring together people.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dave Marcus, District Medical Officer, Senator Ansler and Elizabeth. Dr. Labo, it's good to see your face, sir. I remember when I worked in hospital, all referrals or transfers, critical cases out of hospital would be addressed to you. So good to meet you in person, sir. And I would like to say congratulations on all the panelists and presenters for excellent presentations and informing us on these topics. And I would like to see the information imparted over these last couple of years be developed into policy and implemented in the future management of snakebites and also in other aspects of medicine. And lastly, I would like to say, as a physician, a lot of our training is based on mentorship. And I have had the opportunity to be mentored by many great physicians before me. And unfortunately, I did not have much interaction with Dr. Didier, but sometimes it only takes one encounter. And some time ago, I admitted a case under his care on his behalf. And when we did discuss that case, he was very nurturing, very encouraging, and sometimes some other mentors through training can be very rough, but he was very nurturing, very kind, and he actually spent almost an hour on the phone with me discussing the case. So I feel very fortunate to have had that encounter, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
because the launch is already there. In some of the area we didn't talk because we have the Caribbean Doctors Association. DGO was the, I can say, the president. So 2 years ago, I was upset because the Caribbean doctors didn't do well. So he was in Martinique, married, and I said to him, I'm going to leave. He said to me, no, come over, we're going to talk. We got dinner together, and he said, you should write a letter. So, well, I'm not going to help you so much, but there's somebody here. She knows, she writes very well. She should help us. And Mary was the one to give us ideas and to write the letter. So can you say 2 words about Caribbean doctors or the DJ? For DJ, it was so important to have that association and in order to talk in one voice.
Thank you. My husband's concept of medicine was a network. It's like a hive of bees, everybody working together for a common purpose. So he recognized that within our region we have areas of strengths in each island and areas of weaknesses. So therefore his concept was if we could come together as a group, those of us who were weak in some areas could be helped by those of us who were strong in some areas. And in fact, the concept of centers of excellence, where if you can do a cardiac catheterization in 10 seconds flat, that's your baby, and we will use you. But if I can do something else particularly well, then that's my baby. And he saw that if we shared our knowledge, our experiences, then we could build the region. And that was his concept. And his concept was not whether it was an English-speaking Caribbean. His concept was anywhere in the Caribbean, whatever our language base was, we should come together because we are a resource poor area. So we can't afford for every single island to have every single bell and whistle in medicine. But if you have areas of strength and we share our strengths, then this region will become a powerhouse because we have the pathology. We see all kinds of things, but very often we can't do much for our patients because we don't have the technology and the money. And so sharing, we could do more. And that was his concept. He really wanted us to come together.
And also DJ includes us, me particularly, to the Caribbean Cardiac Society. The society, I don't know this year, but formed by a group of doctors from different countries. And his colleague Henry, I remember some of the names, and he has brought me into that society. And after 3 years, 4 years, I was one of the council and association. And now I'm not a cardiologist, but those guys, since today, they said they love me, they accept me as a non-cardiologist. And DJ was the one to push me. Not only me, but some other doctors, like Josely Namo, who is the chief of cardiology department at the University Hospital. So, Caribbean Cardiac Society, he's one of the founders, if I'm right, and also the Caribbean Doctors Association, where I'm actually the president. Not for long, but I believe so. So he's a pioneer also for that. So before we take three more questions, I start to, and after all, we're going to the conclusive remarks by Dr. Professor Richards. So I want to say special thanks to Professor Hulot. He's a good friend of ours. He's coming from
Lille. North of France.
North of France. Lille. I know Lille. When I go there, I get a lot of
very cold weather.
So University of Lille, North of France. He came to Martinique to work at a mission. He's a occupational disease professor at the University of Lille. So I told him, we're going to Symposium. He said, yes, I heard about that. So he's supposed to stay in Martinique, but he's in Symposium. But I believe tomorrow you will tell me I'm not going to leave. So just say hi to them.
Good morning, everybody. Bonjour. Bonjour à tous et à tous. I just want to present to you. I'm professor of occupational medicine, small professor of occupational medicine, and specialty of occupational pulmonary disease. And I'm not a snakebite guy, I'd like to say. And I want to thank Labor and his team for their warm welcome. I think it's a very great and amazing symposium. And you have to, you must be proud of it. I think because you have to reach to join around the table all the skills necessary to fight the consequences of snake bites on health. And I think it's very important. I think. This symposium reinforces the need to create a center of environmental disease, and I think it's and this center was inaugurated last week, 21 of November, and I think it's very important to help the population that's exposed to several toxics of environment or occupational sources, and I think we have to help the population to improve the individual protective equipment, for example, for the workers exposed to these toxics, and to give them advices for social recognition and social compensation, for example. And we have to also improve the research, the field of the research around this field, and that we want to do in the future together. And thank you for your welcome too.
From France, my friend, from France, 8,000 kilometers or 8,000. So I never been to sleep.
Thank you, D'abord. As you understood yesterday, in the big Paris area, we don't have snake.
Not yet.
I'm interested in toxicology since 25 years. And one of the challenges in toxicology, not only in case of snake, is antidote availability. It has to be organized. not during the night, but during the day, in meetings like this one. And I was very impressed for two reasons. First one is being able to have, at the same time, in two different rooms, very high scientific level, discussing about antivenom, and in the other room, very practice rules to deal with snake. It's not the same population, but you answer two very crucial questions. The second point is that very often the center of research is in Europe, in the United States, and I clearly understand that for snake is close to this place. Thank you for that.
Thank you, colleague. We used to be on call together. I was smart. But it was a long time ago in Paris. Yes. Yes. But you know, we talk about research. Somebody, she doesn't talk so much. She's a PhD 4 days ago. Under the care of his Professor Remy. He's a guy, he's not talking so much, but he's a master also. He's a mentor. He won the laboratory of research. So now, he said he's retired, but officially, but we need him because he said to me, there's no one else who need to take over the job. That's a difficult job. So he's still with me to help me. We're going to run the laboratory. Remember, we're going to do research together. So, but to do so, we have a team. Our team is there. So we have Sonop, we have Mishika. The only little disappointed when he said Dabo is going to be the chief. Some people who know me, they say they're doing the job, but some doesn't know it. Seem to be off or sometimes, whatever. But he trusts me, and I think we're going to do the job. Because what I like, I'm like DJ, the job has to be done. So, because I don't want to say here 1 year, 12 months, like what's going on. I don't want this kind of thing. So they know the way I am, and I'm going to deal with them. So, but whenever we're going to have an idea, I said I'm going to write a paper. The first person I call is she. Her name is Mishika Benini. She's a methodologist or book, and she's an epidemiologist also. Yeah, 1 second.
So my 1 second is just to say thank you. Thank you for this event. I learned a lot. And what I appreciated as a public health professional is really having everyone around the table, be it health professionals, be it those who are first responders, be it the general public, asking and learning. We all learned during this event. And I'll just say thank you. Thank you, Dabo. Thank you, the organizing committee. And the work will go on.
Dr. Mishika Benini. Mishika is one of our missionary. Yes. One word.
Well, I also thank you. Thank Nigeria. Thank you all for this meeting, this cooperation. And I look forward for more research, more cooperation with Costa Rica and Brazil and solution. Thank you all.
Thank you, Scott. The heart of the laboratory, so the media, not only in January or
she's taking care of everything. I don't know where is the freeze, it's in the north, it's the south. She's the one to manage all those things. And she's very good, and she has a very good son and research. And she's a PhD also. So maybe she's going to be soon to the university, assistant professor, I can call it in English, so we're working on that.
I'd like to thank you, Lavon, for your invitation to this conference. And I want to thank Professor Rémi Luguer and Professor Guterres for chairing and Professor Montero for sharing your knowledge about snake envenoming and antivenomous. We try to go across the physiological effect of the venom on patients. So if we do so, we can improve the care of patients. So it's a good fun. For me, it's a mission to have in Martin. So I will try with the team, all the team, to go ahead for this mission. I will thank all Symposium, very kind people, very helpful people, and I will thank all the organization. Thank you.
Caroline.
So I have the honor of presenting Caroline Raffler, who is our newest addition to the team. PhD student who will be working on snake envenomation and who will be helping and contributing heavily to carry forward this research subject in our team. So just a few words.
I would like to say thank you. I was so grateful to assist this event, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You have to come back on Friday. Friday night. Thank you very much, and I think we were very democratic. We is democracy.
That's okay.
Yes. Melanie, something?
No?
Well, I'd like to say thank you to the organizers of this event. I think from the sounds of it, you put on something that was extremely excellent and that you touched many different levels of staff through the pathway of snakebite care, etc. And I'm glad to see everybody participating, and I hope and expect that it will go forward given the legacy that you are trying to uphold. Thank you to everyone for your kind words about my father, and I hope that we can maintain his legacy in our own small way. I think he was just one person doing his part, but we have a part to play as individuals going forward, and the lives of the people that we touch, the students, the other co-workers, etc. We can all be like him in some way, so I hope that we take that message forward. So thank you very much to everyone, and have a great lunch.
Doc, you're not in the area of snakebite. But you know, in French Ghana, the management of those patients usually before attempt calais, usually the patient arrive to the emergency and they send them to the orthopedic ward before. But we have changed that. I'm glad because for the past 3 years you are with us. If you want to attend.
Yes, good morning everyone. It's almost afternoon. Yes, thank you for the invitation. Let's say thank you to everyone for this conference. Yeah, before giving my opinion, I also say a few words about Dr. Didi. We did not work for long together, but we used to meet very often. But the first member of the Didi family was Melanie. I think that's our original mother and the father after. But Dr. Didi, when I came back from studying in Cuba, well, I've made up my mind already. I was going to do orthopedics, but I just needed a professional opinion. he was in charge of internship at the time. I worked with him just for 1 week. And I told him, look, I have that opportunity to do my internship, and I think I'm going to go for it. Sorry, my specialty. What do you think about that? He told me, there's nothing to think about that. We need people that we need specialists. So just go right ahead, go ahead, do your specialty. Then he told me if I wanted, I could have still spoken to the CMO at the time. I think it was Dr. Rombali. I spoke to him, he still encouraged me. He said that he accepted the degree from Cuba, so I could go ahead with my specialty. I went ahead and I did my specialty. When I came back, we still met as colleagues. We worked about 3 years together, roughly 3 years. And we'd meet even at the supermarket, he'd always encourage me and tell me how things going on at, okay, you keep on going, I know things are, you're not getting all what you want to work with in terms of instruments and implants and so on, but don't give up. Keep on going, things will get better. Yeah. But in terms of snakebite, well, we also treat the patients most times now. The protocol, as you said, have changed a bit. Before, once it was involved leg or arm straight over vein. But medicine is a specialty which really manages snake bites right now. And when the patient has complications like compartmental syndrome, we get the opportunity to come in, evaluate the patient, and decide if they can be treated conservatively or surgically. I've had the opportunity to operate probably about 4 of them. I think one of your colleagues you mentioned from Amsterdam, I think we had to do fasciectomy on his leg as well. Yes, so I could say that I've learned a lot about snake bites. Well, I still fear the snakes. I don't know much about the conserving them, but I will keep on doing what I can do to help my colleagues.
Jonathan is the furtherance of the organization of the Symposium. He's a clinical toxicology doctor and emergency doctor. He's running fast into his professorship. Because he said, if you can be professor at the bar, I can be too. So, few words, he's the one to organize everything.
Thank you very much. I want to say thank you to Professor Dabor, my mentor, who is the head, the very head of this symposium since the first symposium in French Guyana. And I want to say congratulations for the organization staff. We made a greater event than the past year. The complexity and the knowledge was greater than last year. And thank you to this wonderful public. We are very happy to present our work and exchange and share knowledge with the public. And it gives us the strength to continue forward to make this type of conference. Thank you.
We had the opportunity to bring here 2 big directors. The 3, because L'Apostol is the director also of Samuel Absen. Absen is a 19 area near to Paris. 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Ile-de-France. Yes, I think I know very well Absen. So, this is one of the big directors. And we have Papagay, he spoke this morning with his heart. He was in Dakar when he was talking about DJ, because the African roots, those guys, when they say they talk with their heart, this morning he spoke with his heart. Okay, Senegal, good city, is where we come from, the majority of us. So Papagay is originally from Senegal, it's a nice country. You have to visit Senegal. And you see the new president.
I have a dream to organize
he has something to announce to us. Maybe he's going to give us money.
Yesterday we discussed there are a lot of snakebite in Africa, in West Africa, and a lot of deaths because no availability of antivenoms. And our friends in West Africa, we have a congress each year, and at least d'abord, I say you, maybe in 1996 or 97, we have a dream to organize the Symposium of Snakebite in Africa.
But next year, 2025, we will be in Costa Rica. Last week of November, that will be the fourth symposium. It will be in the mainland of Costa Rica, with Guillermo and Leon. Costa Rica. I don't know if we're going to do it in Limon or in San Jose. I prefer Limon. Limon. Okay. We talk about that. So we have the other, number 3, director of SAMU from Guadeloupe. Patrick, I'm very glad you are here with us. It's your last word.
Thank you, Labor. Thanks for this event, and success is very important. But now, I think I understand why on our caducée there is 2. I think it's not Raza.
Thank you, Patrick. Mr. Commissioner, thank you for being here with us. You have to give me some good, some technical.
Yeah, so I'm just very happy to have been part of this symposium. Happy to have had the exchanges, with the various professionals. I am just hoping that from this symposium we can, move into we would have this level of collaboration that is necessary, and we could have this, program where we could assist. My concern really is to lend assistance to the community folks, the specific target groups, the foresters, the farmers, and so on, because they are the ones who are really truly impacted by our fairness. And I would love to see that we can bridge that huge gap between conservation and persons wanting to exterminate the fairness.
Thank you very much. From the Minister of Health to good organization, Moises told me that you're going to be here, but I feel bad. I have a lot of friends also in that program, and they cannot be here. Remember, I'm a recipient. I get the Independence Prize in 2020. So you have to call me Ola, but please. So thank you very much for the organization. That's why.
Je vous en prie. Je veux dire merci à nos amis de la Martinique, de la France, et de Costa Rica también, por su interés. Muchas gracias. To our solutions. Thank you very much. On behalf of the Ministry, University of College Unit, we want to thank you for showing up. Thank you for your contribution. We appreciate it. And I have to testify that pulling this together was not easy, and I didn't do it on my own. I would like to show some of the faces who have helped me. And since I'm the deputy political region, we have a team that I've been leading since she's out of the island. And they have been very cooperative. I would like to call my team outside: Patrice, Septima, Elena. I would like to thank you guys in public for that. have Ms. J. Brown and Javid Santorini. They work in the communication. And these guys have been the backbone of whatever conversation they have been giving aside. These are the reason why. They are the one reason why we have been telling a good job really well. It's because of the support. They have been on point with their task. They have been following and they have been delivered. And I personally want to say thank you. Again, for our doctors and nurses, especially those who are the ER, who face more of the patients coming in. We know we have a lot of cases, situations where people will be running on the way calling St. Jude, and St. Jude said, no, do not bring that patient, we have until you have to go okay with. And I am really hoping, and one day there will be some strategy where the antivenom will be studied and strategically placed on key areas on island when this happens, so we can save lives on time without having any side effect of the delay in treatment. I'm really hoping this will happen one day. I want to thank everybody for attending again.
Thank you. Merci.
Merci. Merci beaucoup.
Gracias. Thank you. What else?
To marry Didier. So Didier used the first time I did your presentation at the CCS, I went to the society, he said to me, your presentation is beautiful, but come here. You only have the time. Next time, you have to build that. With this word, you can see Didier has a good impact in my life. So, Mary is going to say the last word. So, I'm very glad to be part of his journey and to be chairman with Jonathan in that session. Very glad, Mary.
Thank you. I'd like to really thank the organization for having seen it fit to honor Martin in this way by, in this session, really exposing to the public the role that he has played in healthcare in St. Lucia. He would be extremely happy to see what has happened here today, and he will be extremely happy to know that the work that he put in is continuing and will be continued and will benefit St. Lucia and the wider Caribbean in the future. So thank you so very much.
I go in the same way that Mary, can we just only 1 minute? And not on time. 1 minute for the great father and friend DJ. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may.
You catch me.
Yes. So he's the guy who is so much work. So it's a big responsibility. So it's difficult. I did the bad job talking after Professor Gutierrez keynote the first day, having to take over, not take over, to be the number 2 of this guy. It's simple. I would like to be like him, but you know, we are all different. So thank you for all you have done and all you continue to do for us. And your last word is.
Thank you, D'abord. Maybe I may talk about money. It's an important thing, to consider when we are doing research, of course. So I just remember the thing that for the people of St. Lucia and for the specific Botrops Caribbeans, in fact, we associate the scientific project that we held in Martinique. So it's a kind of jointure between our 2 universities, and we do consider the Caribbeans as a part of our own project. So it's very important. And the second point I would like to make is when we are applying for money to do research, more and more the national institution bring with the idea a new paradigm to consider 2 things. The first one is education, and thank you, Professor Gutierrez, to spoke about this. And the second is social science. We have to consider the science from the people back to the ground, to the lab. And this is 2 important, keywords we have to consider. So again, I was very impressed of the quality of this symposium, and this is really because of you all. You participate, you ask a lot of questions, and again, thank you. And I'm just so excited to be part, maybe, on the 4th symposium in Costa Rica, and in advance, I thank the organization and the lab in Costa Rica, the University of Costa Rica. Again, thank you all. This is my last word.
Yes.
And again, thank you, my great friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. To the public, thank you very much, all of you. Without you, we cannot talk about Symposium success. Thank you very much. We can just to Daniel Rommel, who is the chairman of Tapion, who offered us a good food last night. My belly was more bigger than that. So thank you very much to Tapion and to OKU and Newport Hospital. To our technician.
Over there.
Those guys. Without them, cannot be there. To them, thank you. Can we just... And we have to move. Professor Gutierrez, very pleased again to introduce him. He's going to give us the conclusive remarks of the symposium. Remember, we will publish a paper, and we have 2 papers. There's one by Dr. DJ, who is in a journal. Soon we will see it, maybe, and we will publish a paper on the symposium here, and Professor Gutierrez is their architect. If they want to, and when he said, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Professor Gutierrez, you are, and I'm pleased, I'm glad to be with you here. Thank you for your teaching, for all you have done for us. And I hope some of our students all over the Caribbean will benefit from the big experience they have at the University of Costa Rica, Condomino Picado. You have to just do like me, send an email to them.
Thank you very much, Deborah. Well, it is an honor for me to close this fantastic meeting. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the organizers, the board, the team from Martinique, the team from St. Lucia, the Ministry of Health. It has been a fantastic meeting, very well organized, and as some of you have commented, a meeting with a very special flavor because it has included not only excellent scientific presentations, but also the participations of many people from many different settings and many areas of work. So this type of partnership, bringing together people of different areas of emphasis and expertise, is absolutely necessary for moving ahead our field and the goal to reduce the impact of snakebite envenoming. So my first comments on my behalf, on behalf of my colleagues from Costa Rica, from Brazil, and from other countries, is to congratulate the organizers and to thank you very much for the hospitality and excellent organization. So snakebite envenoming, as we have been discussing, is a disease of the poor, so to speak. It's a disease that affects the countries of the global south mostly. Sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. It's a neglected tropical disease. And as such, the solutions for this problem have to come from our settings in the global south. Of course, any contribution from the countries of the north is both are welcome. But we have in our hands the task of understanding this problem, organizing ourselves, and finding solutions for this problem with our own resources. Latin America has had a very strong tradition in this field, which started in Brazil in early 20th century and continued in other countries. In the Caribbean, these efforts being carried out by the board and colleagues in these countries have been developing also the interest in this particular area. But we should harness this tradition and these efforts carried out in the region. Our countries have developed resources, have developed knowledge, have developed research, public health interventions that have contributed to reducing the impact of this disease. And we should continue in this journey of developing our own resources in Latin America and the Caribbean. So this type of meeting is a very strong component in this effort, in this efforts to improve our confrontation of this problem. And in this, we should get away from individualism, from mercantilism, from silo philosophy, for confrontation, from divergence. And we should follow the route established very well by Dr. Didier of friendship, partnership, cooperation, solidarity. This is the route that should be taken in our countries, not only to confront this problem, but in general in our societies as a way to go into the future. So it is very nice, it's very good to have the spirit of Dr. Didier here today guiding us in this trend, in this road marked by solidarity, by cooperation, by convergence, and by joint efforts, bringing together the expertise of the different persons and groups and institutions to build a better future for our countries. So on behalf of the University of Costa Rica and the different groups present here, we promise to continue our efforts to build together this partnership, to contribute to this organization, Caribbean Community for Snakebite Envenoming, and to put the best of our efforts to find solutions to this problem and to develop science, public health interventions, social work to reduce the impact of this disease. So thank you very much to everybody. Congratulations to all of you and to organizers for this activity. And we shall continue our journey together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Gutierrez. And I know it's time to eat. So we're going to have lunch together. And we will see you in Costa Rica next year. For sure, I'm going to invite Mary and Melanie. For sure. So we'll come in with her. So, for sure. You with me, Jonathan? Okay. So, we like also, we forget Professor Nevia, they are going to be upset with her, to say thank you to the hospital, University Hospital of Martinique. The director, all those people, they help us to come here. So, we have to say thank you to them. To the University of West Indies, Dr. Metalor, Melanie. We hope we can say the same thing for the University of West Indies, French University, but we cannot say the same thing. So maybe it's a good message we send. I know they are in YouTube, they know I'm not afraid of nothing. So we cannot say the same thing. So we have to tell the truth. And to all of our colleagues in Martinique, everywhere, and Costa Rica, all of them, to the University of French Guyana, to the Cayenne Hospital, Professor Atem Kalel, who is my partner also. He cannot be here because he has a family issue. So he's a guy who is working well also in the field of snakebite. We are working together. So Professor Kalel, if you are listening to me, I don't forget. And the last word, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So nice to meet you. I was so